Amir Khan, the gift that keeps on giving. you know, somebody in my Facebook, it was somebody on Facebook, I can't remember if it was in my Facebook boxing group or not, but somebody on Facebook posted the other day, I think it was one of my Facebook friends, and they asked the question, is Amir Khan one of the greatest British fighters of all time? Or I think he was quoting somebody, and somebody had said that Amir Khan was one of the greatest British fighters of all time, and he was asking the question, is it actually true? And my response was, yeah, it is, but it depends how long the list is. Is Amir Khan in the top 15, top 20 British fighters of all time? Hell yeah. Yeah, he is. I think Khan, because of his exploits outside the ring and his exploits inside the ring to some extent, gets a bit of a raw deal from fans. They don't rate him as highly as maybe they should. Some fans, anyway, not other fans. But Khan is a former world champion, a former unified world champion. He beat a prime Marcus Maidana. That was a great win for Amir Khan. Imagine, he beat a prime Marcus Maidana. He beat other people like Zab Judah. He beat Devon Alexander. Um, so many other people. Paulie Malignaggi, etc., etc. He's beat a lot of guys. He fought Lamont Peterson, obviously. Fought Danny Garcia, lost those fights. But did beat Louis Collazo. Yeah, he's beaten a bunch of guys. So his resume is not that bad. He's been a fairly run-of-the-mill world champion. He hasn't been a standout world champion or anything like that. But he did unify a couple belts. Did beat Marcus Maidana, which was, the the more time passes since that Maidana fight, the more it almost seems like it didn't happen. Because of the reputation Amir Khan has developed since then as being chinny, and I mean, even before then he had this chinny reputation, but since then he's been hurt and dropped and knocked out uh, several other times. And because of this reputation that he has of being really vulnerable, it's almost as if the Maidana fight never happened. Even to me, it's like, did that really happen? Did Khan actually beat Maidana? He took all his best punches and came through? It's incredible to think that he actually took Maidana's best shots and he didn't even go down in the fight. And he won. Madness. But yeah, anyway, enough of all that. For me, Amir Khan, even if you don't want to say he's one of the greatest British fighters of all time, for me, he's definitely top 15, top 20. But for me, Amir Khan only has one rival in British boxing history in terms of being entertaining. And who you regard as entertaining is really very subjective, in it. But for me personally, Amir Khan, in and out of the ring, particularly out of the ring actually, but even in the ring, has been extremely entertaining. The whole Amir Khan show is just hilarious to me. And I mean no disrespect. I'm just saying it's entertaining. And Khan, I think, is challenging Chris Eubanks Sr., at least in my book, as being the most entertaining man in British boxing history. Chris Eubanks Sr., not all of his fights were very entertaining. I mean, his fight against Nigel Benn, the first fight, was very entertaining. The fight against, both Watson fights, or particularly the rematch against Watson, even though it was a tragic ending. His fights with Carl Thompson, his fights with Steve Collins, they were entertaining fights. But there was a lot of boring fights with Chris Eubanks Sr. too. But just as a character, Chris Eubanks Sr. was very entertaining. I love Chris Eubanks Sr.'s ring walk. I thought that was tremendous with the Tina Turner music and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I think Chris Eubanks Sr. is the most entertaining man in British boxing history. As an act, if you want to call it that. But Khan is challenging that for different reasons. He's entertaining for different... His exploits outside the ring, it's like, whoa. Every other week, there's some madness going on with Khan. Anyway, let me get to the topic at hand here, because I'm just waffling on about all kind of nonsense. Alright, so Amir Khan, we know that he's been chasing fights with Floyd Mayweather, and when he couldn't get Mayweather, he started turning on Pacquiao, his former friend and stablemate and sparring Partner. Yeah, well, the Pacquiao talk has started up again with Amir Khan. And Khan is kind of like Stan, Stan from the Eminem song, where he starts stalking and all this type of business. Khan has started the stalking of Manny Pacquiao again here. Let me quote Amir Khan. He said, "We've tried to get the Manny Pacquiao fight for years. We are going to force it. Manny Pacquiao or Lucas Matisse. I'm forcing a position to be a world champion again because none of these world champions want to give me a chance. So it's like me forcing my way and becoming the mandatory, beating the guys on the way to those titles. It doesn't matter. Whoever wins that fight, I'm going to fight. Matisse, in my opinion, is a good fighter, a rugged fighter. Manny Pacquiao, in my opinion, is the best out of the two. So let's see." All right. Now, what he's talking about here is the fact that uh, his fight against Sammy Vargas is likely going to become a final eliminator for the WBA regular belt. And Matisse is the current WBA regular champion. So, yeah, he'll become mandatory. But when they'll enforce that mandatory, I don't know. Khan is obviously hoping that it's Pacquiao. Because that's a fight he's wanted for a long time. I mean, would he fight Matisse? Matisse is a tremendous puncher. He's a very flawed fighter, Matisse, and he's probably seen better days, but he's still a tremendous puncher. Is there really that much in a fight against Matisse for Amir Khan? Because we know his chin is still as suspect as ever. Fighting a Matisse, yeah, he might gain a title, but it's a hell of a risk to take to gain a title, isn't it? Wouldn't he be better off fighting a Danny Garcia? Or, an Errol Spence, any of those guys out there taking a risk against somebody who's more highly regarded than Matisse for more money? And are Errol Spence or Danny Garcia bigger punchers than Lucas Matisse? It's arguable that neither one of them is. As I say, it's arguable. I'm not making a decisive judgment on it. I'm saying it's arguable. So anyway, yeah, that's the words of Amir Khan. He hopes he can get this Pacquiao fight by forcing it, becoming a mandatory. So he'll definitely be rooting for Manny Pacquiao to beat Lucas Matisse. And then we'll see what happens. I'm quite disappointed that Manny Pacquiao's fighting on, to be honest with you. I know he has a lot of supporters still in the Philippines, but his career has really just gone downhill, hasn't it? He's no longer on good terms with, well, ostensibly he don't seem to be on great terms with Bob Arum anymore. He's no longer working with Freddie Roach. So is he essentially training himself? I know he's got some type of guy training him. Is it Boo Boy? I don't even know who this Boo Boy guy is. But is Manny Pacquiao essentially training himself? Because he's not working with Freddie Roach anymore as far as I'm aware. How is he going to do against Matisse? I really feel like Pacquiao should have retired. But hey, who am I to tell a man that he needs to quit? It's not like Pacquiao has been getting blasted out, his last couple fights. So whatever the case is, he's decided to carry on, and let's see how he does against Matisse. You wouldn't be shocked at this point in time if Khan was able to beat Pacquiao, would you? I wouldn't be. Khan is, yeah, he's got miles on the clock too. He's had tough fights, but he's still the younger guy and the fresher guy. And remember, Manny Pacquiao has been knocked out cold himself in the fourth Marquez fight. So Khan is not the only person who's tasted the canvas. So anyway, let me know what you feel about this in the comments, people. It's happening. I'm out.